On her way home from school, the girl was blocked by some female classmates in a small grove. They threw the girl's shoes into a mud pit, telling her to go fetch them. The girl, as if used to this, silently slid into the mud pit. The girl's embarrassed state made the group gloat, and the insults from their mouths became even nastier. Xiaomei transferred from Tokyo. As an outsider, her harmonious and beautiful family made her classmates very jealous, so she was bullied as soon as she entered the school. Covered in mud, Xiaomei carried her dirty shoes and backpack home, and her sister Kyoko couldn't help but burst into tears when she saw her condition.
Xiaomei.
Subsequently, the parents also arrived upon hearing, and they held their daughter tenderly in their arms. The next day, the father took Xiaomei to the school to find the teacher and accused the students in the class of bullying Xiaomei. Unexpectedly, the teacher advised Xiaomei's father not to cause trouble at this time, because the school was about to be abandoned. Seeing that the teachers didn't care, the classmates' behavior became even more excessive, openly humiliating Xiaomei in the classroom. A few people intensified their actions, even stuffing a dead crow into a desk, and the homeroom teacher ignored it. The only one who spoke up for Xiaomei was a male classmate named Aoi. On the other side, the father who was planning to go home was also bullied by a few male students. They attacked him from behind, using feet with tacks to kick the father down the stairs. After returning home, Xiaomei was surprised to find her mother tending to her father's wounds, and only after asking did she find out that during the day, her father also suffered by bullying. Thinking of those nasty classmates at school, father decided to let Xiaomei stop attending school, since it was only 2 months until graduation. She could just take a 2-month sick leave and stay at home. The next day, Xiaomei, who had just gotten up, had a high fever and stayed home to rest. Without the bullying from her classmates, a long-lost smile appeared on her face. However, since Xiaomei had not come to school for 3 consecutive days, her classmates, losing their target of bullying, became extremely bored and shifted their target to Yumiko. Soon Yumi went to Xiaomei's home after school to visit her. Seeing that Xiaomei was alright, she urged her to return to school quickly, and tearfully recounted her own experience. Of course, Xiaomei had no intention of going back. Because she did not complete the task, Yumi was locked in the cabinet as punishment, and she became the new bullying target instead of Xiaomei. Then, Lumei was pulled out by Miaozi, and her hair was roughly cut off, while she, under the watchful eyes of everyone, joined in with a foolish laugh. With each instance of humiliation from her classmates, her hatred for Xiaomei grew. Blaming her for not coming to school, she even uttered that she wanted to kill her. Xiaomei, not attending school, feels much happier staying at home. When she goes out, she even runs into her longtime crush, her male classmate Aoi. He kindly takes a photo of her and her sister, and his politeness prompts her sister to tease. This was Xiaomei and Wei's first date. They stood on the bridge, agreeing to watch the snow scene together, take pictures together, and go see the spring clover together. The joyful day quickly passed, and in the evening when Wei was walking Xiaomei back, they encountered 2 classmates leaving in a panic. Xiaomei looked towards her home and saw flames rising high. As she ran back, she discovered the house was already on fire. Wei held the grief-stricken Xiaomei back and bravely rushed into the blaze, rescuing her severely burned sister. Both parents passed away, and the younger sister was severely burned and sent to the emergency room for rescue. Xiaomei was heartbroken. Her grandfather rushed from Tokyo to take care of the sisters. We agreed to wait until her sister recovered a bit before taking them to Tokyo. After this, Xiaomei returned to school, but she became even more silent and withdrawn. She was so heartbroken that it damaged her vocal cords, and she couldn't speak. With a meticulous mind, she felt that the fire at home was not accidental, so she returned to school to investigate the truth. The girls who once bullied her were indifferent, and took her to the old mud pit again after school. It turned out that this time, Xiaomei's house catching fire did not have that. It was not that simple. After Lu Mei was bullied by classmates, she planned to take revenge on Xiaomei. So, amid the classmates' jeers, she brought a can of oil to Xiaomei's house. Just when Lu Mei was pouring gasoline at the entrance, Xiaomei's mother came out and shouted for them to stop. Unexpectedly, not only were they not afraid, they instead poured gasoline on the mother and then set it on fire, turning Xiaomei's mother into a human torch instantly. Upon hearing the commotion, Xiaomei's father hurriedly rushed out, but was hit in the thigh by a crazed crossbow bolt. Without hesitating, Liu Mei and the others went straight into the house, poured gasoline, and ignoring the young sister's pleas, set the room on fire. The father died protecting the sister, who was severely burned.
Upon learning everything, Xiaomei felt utterly hopeless. Her classmate Xiaoju took the opportunity to push Xiaomei into the mud pit. They didn't intend to let Xiaomei go. To prevent her from reporting to the police, they decided they had to kill her.
Xiaoju grabbed Xiaomei's hair, intending for her to commit suicide. But unexpectedly, a desire for revenge began to awaken at that moment. Then Xiaomei slowly stood up, picked up a stick nearby and smashed it hard against her, venting her dissatisfaction and grief, until her head was bleeding and she stopped breathing. At this moment, the other two female classmates were trembling with fear, having lost their previous arrogance in completely becoming targets for Xiaomei's hunt. Finally, the three girls involved in the incident were buried here, with the snow-covered ground reflecting streaks of blood red, as if the world had taken on color. Soon, the disappearance of Xiaoju and the other two drew the attention of the school and the police, yet this revenge had just begun. On his way home, Jiuhu encountered Xiaomei dressed in red, and as he intended to bully her again, he was stabbed in the abdomen.
Then the dagger swung again, leaving another blood mark on the cheek.
Staggering in panic, Jiu fell off a cliff and broke his leg. The ice and snow corroded his wound, causing him to let out cries of pain. Alone, he slowly waited for death to come in the icy snow. The snowfall grew heavier, covering the traces of revenge, and the school had no choice but to suspend classes. Yumi and the two male classmates couldn't get in touch with Duke for a long time. Thinking about the three missing girls, they were sure Xiaomei was taking revenge for her family. So, Fatty and Skinny decided to strike first. They ambushed near Xiaomei's house in the woods, but Skinny slipped, making Xiaomei alert quietly. Silently hid at this moment, Fat Brother wore a face of complacency. He didn't believe a frail woman could challenge him. Seeing Xiaomei standing quietly in the snow waiting for him, Fat Brother was filled with lust and lunged at Xiaomei, ready to have his way with her. At this moment, Xiaomei felt the pliers beside her and quickly and accurately clamped Fatty's nose. Do not fear a godlike opponent. Fear a pig-like teammate. Fatty was accidentally killed by Skinny with precision, and in the chaos, he himself was fatally struck by Xiaomei. The disappearance of multiple children left the parents anxious, and they went to the school to question the head teacher, slapping the teacher in public and accusing her of not caring about the students' lives. Recalling the promise to watch the snow together, Awei invited Xiaomei out again. Thinking about everything that has happened recently, Xiaomei is heartbroken, even biting her lip until it bleeds. Looking at poor Xiaomei, Awei hugged her tightly, silently determined in his heart to treat her well from now on, and accompany her to Tokyo to take care of her. On the other side, Yumi, who was searching for the truth, finally discovered the bodies of three female classmates in the mud pit. She screamed in fright and quickly called Taiko, indicating that Xiaomei is seeking revenge and that she and Taiko are definitely next. Who knew me out? The child was particularly hostile towards Lume and hung up the phone after only a few words. Soon Taiko meets Xiaomei. Although she was not among those who killed Xiaomei's parents, she still apologizes to Xiaomei for her past bullying. It turns out that the two were very good friends before, and it was the appearance of Awei that led to their falling out and becoming enemies. All misunderstandings were cleared up, and Xiaomei forgave her. However, on the way back, the frenzied Yumi came with a dagger to assassinate Taiko. It turned out that the past bullying and repressed emotions had driven Liu Mei insane. After a bloody struggle, Mayoko was severely injured by Liu Mei's stabbing. In the evening, Awei called Xiaomei, expressing his intention to accompany her to Tokyo, promising to travel with her, take care of her, and protect her, and he mentioned that he's already taken care of his grandmother's arrangements. However, Xiaomei's revenge is only temporarily covered by the heavy snow. The truth will eventually come out, so she didn't agree to go to Tokyo with Awei. Awei was very angry when he heard Xiaomei's refusal. In order to convince his grandmother to let him go to Tokyo, he did not hesitate to punch and kick her, completely different from his usual obedient demeanor. After thinking for a long time, Awei felt Xiaomei must have some difficulty. Surely she was stopped by her grandfather. So the next day he attacked Xiaomei's grandfather, causing him to be severely injured and hospitalized. One by one, the students went missing, causing a commotion at the police station. The parents surrounded the homeroom teacher, loudly berating him for his incompetence. Amidst the accusations, the teacher's old ailment flared up, causing them to vomit. While rushing out into the snow, they accidentally got caught in the snowplow and died. Grandpa's serious injuries seemed to trigger something in Xiaomei's mind. She caught up with Aoi and noticed the blood on his hands. She realized that it was Aoi who had harmed Grandpa. Looking at the person in front of her, Xiaomei suddenly felt he was so terrifying and unfamiliar. At this moment, Liu Mei appeared and continued to provoke Xiaomei, and as Xiaomei rushed forward, a knife was thrust into her abdomen. Seeing the person he loves get stabbed, Aoi became furious and beat Liu Yu viciously, eventually killing her. In the struggle, the items in Aoi's backpack were scattered on the ground. Xiaomei picked up one of the photos, her face full of disbelief. It was the scene of her father protecting her sister in the fire.
Aoi hardly explained. Thinking of
The perverse love of the person before her had also harmed her grandfather, and Xiaomei could no longer take it. She pulled out the dagger from her abdomen and stabbed towards Aoi. At this moment, the abnormal Aoi was also utterly disheartened, punching Xiaomei repeatedly until she couldn't move. At this moment, Aoi picked up the camera from the ground, wanting to capture Xiaomei's beautiful form as her life faded away. Unable to bear it any longer, Xiaomei seized the opportunity, picked up the crossbow left by the thin man, and shot at Aoi. At this point, all the participants who had harmed her family were executed, while from excessive blood loss, Xiaomei also fell in the snow. The tripod grass ultimately did not wait for the arrival of spring.